Wyndemere is about to turn into absolute chaos. And honestly, guys, I don't think people are fully prepared for how messy this is about to get. Because this is not just another creepy breaking at the castle situation. No, this feels different. More dangerous, more desperate. And the craziest part, the people walking straight into this disaster are Danny and Charlotte. Two kids basically stumbling into a war zone without truly understanding the kind of monster they're provoking. And if you ask me, the second Sidwell realizes someone infiltrated Wyndemere, the whole atmosphere changes instantly. You can already picture it, right? Dark hallways, security alarms, panic spreading room to room. And somewhere inside that castle, Jocelyn is still secretly being held captive, while nobody on the outside fully understands how serious this situation actually is. That part keeps bothering me, because while everyone's distracted by Jason, by Sidwell, by Ava, by all the shifting alliances, Jocelyn is literally trapped inside the same castle Danny and Charlotte are sneaking into. That's what makes this feel so explosive to me. There are too many secrets stacked on top of each other inside one place. Eventually, something had to blow up. And now it probably will. Danny and Charlotte deciding to break into Wyndemere might honestly be one of the most reckless moves we've seen in a while. I mean, these two clearly think they're being smart. They probably believe they can quietly sneak in, look around, find evidence connected to Jason, and disappear before anyone notices. But that plan falls apart the moment Cullum gets involved. Because Cullum is watching everything. And this is where things start getting ugly fast. The fact Danny and Charlotte accidentally exposed information about their route to Wyndemere to Cullum, huge mistake. Massive. I don't even think they realize they basically handed Sidwell a loaded weapon. Cullum immediately sees an opportunity here. He doesn't just want to stop them. He wants Sidwell to catch both of them in one shot. That's the part that gives me chills a little bit because it feels calculated. Cullum probably feeds Sidwell just enough information to trigger panic without revealing exactly who the intruders are. So now Sidwell rushes back to Wyndemere, already angry, already suspicious, already ready for violence. But he may be one step too late because Danny and Charlotte could already be inside by then. And wow, imagine that tension. Just imagine Danny and Charlotte creeping through those massive dark rooms, trying to find answers about Jason while hearing voices downstairs. Footsteps getting closer. Doors opening. The kind of silence where your heart starts beating louder than the actual scene itself. I honestly think Rocco may end up being more important in this storyline than people expect, because there's a good chance he's the one warning Danny and Charlotte to stay alert before Sidwell returns. Without that warning, I genuinely think they would have been caught immediately. But even with the warning, things spiral out of control anyway, because Sidwell probably comes back with Ava. And this right here is where the danger really spikes. Ava walking through Wyndemere, searching for intruders alongside Sidwell, just sounds like a nightmare scenario. Especially since neither of them knows who they're hunting yet. That uncertainty makes people more dangerous, more paranoid. Sidwell's already unstable enough. Add adrenaline and fear into the mix. Yeah, somebody was always going to get hurt. Danny and Charlotte probably end up hiding somewhere nearby, maybe trapped inside one of the rooms while Sidwell and Ava search the castle. And you can already feel the panic building. They can't escape. They can't make noise. One wrong move and everything collapses. And honestly, I think this is where instinct takes over. Because once Sidwell and Ava get too close, Danny and Charlotte may realize they only have seconds before being discovered. No backup. No time to think. No clever escape route. Just pure survival mode. So what do? They attack. That moment could be absolutely insane on screen. I'm serious. Danny and Charlotte blindsiding Sidwell and Ava from behind? That's not some harmless prank anymore. That's full panic and desperation. And I actually think the scene could become even more chaotic because the castle alarms may already be going off at the exact same time. Imagine the sound of those alarms echoing through Wyndemere while Ava and Sidwell collapse unconscious. It's the kind of soap chaos I personally love because everything happens at once. Nobody has control anymore. And here's where Britt and Lucas suddenly become incredibly important. Because if Rocco contacts Britt and tells her what's happening, then Britt and Lucas basically become undercover operatives inside Wyndemere, which is kind of wild to think about, honestly. One minute they're dealing with medical drama and emotional baggage, the next they're helping smuggle terrified teenagers out of a castle before Sidwell wakes up. Soap logic. But somehow it works. What interests me most is that Britt and Lucas probably understand the stakes immediately. They know Danny and Charlotte cannot get caught there. If Sidwell realizes who infiltrated Wyndemere, everything gets worse. Questions start flying. Jason's situation becomes even more dangerous. And Jocelyn's captivity risks being exposed at the worst possible moment. So Britt and Lucas likely move fast. I can totally see them quietly searching room to room, trying to locate Danny and Charlotte while pretending everything is normal around Sidwell's staff. That kind of tension is so good when General Hospital leans into thriller territory instead of pure romance drama. And the castle itself almost becomes its own character in this story. Dark corridors, locked doors, hidden secrets, injured people unconscious on the floor somewhere while alarms scream in the background. Honestly, Wyndemere feels less like a home now and more like a trap. Everybody inside it is either hiding something, searching for something, or trying to escape something. That's why I think the emotional pressure on Danny could become massive here too. Because Danny probably entered Wyndemere focused entirely on Jason. Finding clues, finding answers, trying to prove something. But once Ava and Sidwell get hurt during the confrontation, everything changes psychologically. Suddenly, this isn't just sneaking around anymore. People are bleeding. People could die. And I don't think Charlotte handles that easily either. She acts tough sometimes, but come on, this is terrifying. They're still kids at the end of the day. They are completely in over their heads here. I think viewers are really going to feel that panic once the reality of the situation sinks in. Especially if Sidwell wakes up injured and furious afterward, because let's be honest here, Sidwell is not the type to simply shrug this off. If somebody attacks him inside his own castle, he's going to want revenge immediately. And Ava getting hurt too only escalates the danger even more. Ava doesn't forgive humiliation easily. Neither does Sidwell. That combination could become explosive. And weirdly enough, the entire disaster might accidentally expose more secrets than Danny and Charlotte ever intended to uncover in the first place. That's the irony here. They enter Wyndemere looking for information about Jason, but their presence could trigger a chain reaction involving Jocelyn, Britt, Lucas, Rocco, Ava, Sidwell, literally everyone. One bad decision starts unraveling the entire castle. That's why I keep thinking this storyline may end up becoming much bigger than viewers expect right now. Because the break-in itself is only the beginning. The real fallout comes afterward. Who saw what? Who helped them escape? Who covered up the attack? Who realizes Jocelyn is there? And what happens if Sidwell starts connecting all these dots together? Guys, that's where this gets dangerous. Because once Sidwell stops reacting emotionally and starts thinking strategically, people around him could become targets fast. Britt and Lucas especially, if they help Danny and Charlotte escape back to the mainland successfully, they risk exposing themselves completely. Still, I think they do it anyway. And honestly, that may end up being the most heroic part of this entire mess. Quietly risking themselves to protect those kids while Wyndemere descends into total chaos around them. But something tells me the nightmare won't end once Danny and Charlotte escape. I actually think their escape could be the exact moment the real storm begins.